Hello everyone, welcome to PassionWaterTarot. My name is Mama Do, and we're here for Missing Person Monday. So, with that being said, we're going to ask Spirit to give us guidance, ask this person's energy to come through in the reading, and what enlightenment we can get. The case that I'm looking at today with you is Brent Marshall Acomb. Brent lived in Houston, Texas. He disappeared without a trace. January 24th of 2014. At the time that he went missing, he was 54 years old. He was born in 1959. He went missing from Houston, Texas. He stood 5'10", weighed about 155 pounds, had short red hair, and blue eyes. Circumstances are vague, very vague, regarding his disappearance. It says he had an argument with his girlfriend, whose name is not listed that I can find anywhere. And he left the apartment with only a change of underwear. All of his clothes were left behind except for a change of underwear. His wallet and his gun was left behind. His social security number has not been used in these 7 years. There's been no sightings of him. But he's very dearly loved by his family and his friends, and they would like to bring him home. And they're asking for anybody's help regarding where he's at. So let's ask Holy Spirit, Spirit guides, angels, and ancestors to come into this reading with love and light, to provide the highest level of clarity to those receiving messages, and ask that chakras be open to allow those messages to be received with ease. Now I want to remind you all, if you choose to support this channel, there's links below. But when it comes to missing person and criminal cases and the intuitive readings regarding those, I do not accept payment of any kind, nor will I ever request it. Now, Spirit guide, angels, and ancestors, what information regarding Brent Marshall Acomb and his going missing on January 24th, 2014, would you like to bring forward for this reading? I have the initial C. Somebody involved whose name begins with C, whether it's their first name or their last name. We have the Ace of Pentacles. It's in reverse. And we have the Nine of Swords in reverse. Okay, so with that Ace of Pentacles in reverse, that's an ending to stability and groundedness. That's an ending of a relationship, of a bond, and not being bothered with it anymore, not feeling guilty of it, not worried or bothered by the circumstance. The Queen of Pentacles, yeah, somebody very mean, somebody malicious, somebody I don't want to use the word narcissistic. They just have an evil energy about them. They wanted everything to be their way. The Six of Swords in reverse. And when they didn't get their way, they pretty much had a temper tantrum. They acted out. This will be revealed. There will be a revealing of this information. Because things didn't go the way they wanted them to. They didn't get the results they wanted. So they inflicted trauma. What clarifiers do we have here, Spirit, regarding Brent Marshall Acomb? Was Brent harmed? Was he hurt? Did Brent walk away from this situation? Ten of Cups. Okay, so this was about a home situation, where he lived, where he based his heart out of. You know, happy house, happy spouse. But one person wasn't happy. They were very controlling. That's the words, controlling. They had very serious control issues. What other clarifiers do you have, Spirit, for this reading? Yeah, they wanted things to go their way. They were demanding that things go their way. They wanted an offer of stability. They wanted an offer of marriage. Wow. So somebody wanted Brent to marry them. But Brent was not in agreement with this. He did not want to have a marriage because he didn't want to have a divorce. He didn't want to have a destruction of a committed relationship. And what happened to Brent caught him off guard. It was a surprise to Brent. He wasn't expecting it. He did not see it coming. Where is Brent, Spirit? Where is Brent Marshall Acomb? Acomb. I can't even say it out loud. Can you guide us to where Brent is, where his remains are? The Emperor in reverse, yeah. He was not in control. He did not see it coming. He was hit from behind. Attacked. He was attacked from behind. The Hangman in reverse. And he was disposed of. Wow. The Hangman. Tied up. Wrapped up in a blanket. In a rug. Disposed of. The Knight of Wands. There was somebody else involved that helped move Brent's remains, and they pretty much walked away from the situation. They didn't want to be involved with it anymore. They were just an in and out energy. But they know what happened to Brent, and this person needs to speak up. They've held it in and had nightmares over it. I'm going to go ahead and say it, because that's what the cards are telling me. It was somebody very near and dear to Brent. Somebody he thought he could trust. Somebody who was wanting a new beginning with Brent and was offering him their love. They were very attracted to Brent and wanted Brent to be just as equally attracted to them. But when Brent didn't want to get married, that passion went south and turned into anger and jealousy and rage. The Knight of Swords. Brent's remains were put in a dumpster and taken to the dump. With the blanket, the blue blanket that was wrapped around him. If it's not blue, it's a faded gray blue. Brent was hit with a metal object. That's what caught him off guard. Then he was stabbed. This is very, very foretelling. There's the blanket. There's the knife. But there was a metal tool that was used to catch him off guard, hitting him in the back of the head while his back was turned. He didn't see it coming at all. He never suspected that this person would go to this level. And the Ten of Cups was turned upside down. No more happy house, no more happy spouse, or white picket fence. It's a little hard to have that happy house and happy spouse when you have murdered the person you claim to be so deeply in love with. When you have ripped the life right out of them. There was 2 people involved in that. The original person that attacked Brent and the one that helped to dispose of Brent's body. Because Brent was a little too large for that one person to do it by themselves. I want to pick up Brent's energy, Spirit. What does Brent have to tell us regarding the events of him going missing? Six of Cups in reverse. The relationship was over. It was ending. Brent was calling it quits. Brent had figured out that things were definitely not going in a fashion that was acceptable. So he was pulling back his cup of love and taking it back from this person and no longer celebrating their union together. And this person couldn't handle Brent breaking up with them. Brent's remains will most likely never be found. If what Spirit is telling me is true, that his remains was put in a dumpster and taken to the dump. And it's been 7 years. It would virtually be impossible to locate. For all intents and purposes, it would be impossible to locate his remains. The most likely outcome of this reading is the High Priestess in reverse. Things coming to fruition, things coming to knowledge, coming forward, finding the evidence that's needed to prosecute the person. Most likely this in and out energy coming forward and speaking up. They absolutely would clear their conscious level by giving the family closure. And it's clarified by judgment in reverse. Yeah. So that person made a bad judgment call when they answered the phone that night, when they came over and helped dispose of the remains. But it's time for the truth to come forward. The person that assisted, the person who was harming Brent, is having a very difficult time. And they need to get this off of their shoulders, off of their chest. They don't have to worry about retaliation. Because this person pretty much walked away from the scene and didn't have any contact with the culprit no more. Let's see if Spirit can give us a card, romance card, regarding the Brent Acomb disappearance. Okay, how about one, Spirit? It's Brent at comfort. Trust. Brent did trust this person that harmed him. He never thought that this person would take it to this level. And he was caught off guard so intensely by this person's actions. So Holy Spirit, Spirit Guide, Angels, and Ancestors, please provide an Archangel Oracle card to focus on for Brent Acomb. Thank you for all messages forthcoming. What say ye? Claircognizance. The person who needs to speak up and tell the truth about what happened and what their role was, how they were called, how they were notified. They need to pay attention to their thoughts and ideals that come to them. These are answered prayers, knowing that it's time to come forward and speak up. Time to allow closure and comfort to the family of Brent Acomb. Now, for all those invested in this case, for those family members, friends, here's a card of advice. Never, get it where it's not glaring, never jam today. Promises that never come to be, empty words, and not living in the here and now. Words are plentiful, but deeds are few. Just like with this person, their words were plentiful that they wanted this amazing relationship with Brent, but whenever he did not follow through on wanting that same relationship with them, their words turned into deeds of assault. Thinking that the past and the future are better than the present. Being attracted by promises of good times and abundance that may never be kept. boasting of plenty, but never enjoying it in the moment. Live in the here and now. Focus on what is happening in the here and now to live your best life. Manipulation and withholding. What was that person? This person that assaulted Brent. That is what they were all about. Demand results in the present and work towards satisfying your desires yourself. Don't buy what they are selling. Don't buy what they're selling. Don't buy that the girlfriend says he left the apartment with only a pair of underwear. He left the rest of his clothes, his wallet, and his gun behind. Tell me why he would have left his gun behind. Why did he have a second pair of underwear? Most likely as a gag. And it just got wrapped up in the blanket or the carpet, whatever that blue-gray piece of material was. Don't buy what they're selling. Live in the here and now. Focus on this third person that was there, the second person who was there, the one who helped to move Brent's remains. All right. I gotta know something. Holy Spirit, Spirit God, angels, and ancestors, is March 24th, 2014 the correct date for Brent's disappearance? Is that the day he was murdered? Thank you for all messages forthcoming. What say ye? Now this is an intuitive reading. It's based on what the cards are saying from Spirit, Spirit Guide, Angels, Ancestors, and Brent's energy. Was Brent killed the day of his last sighting? We'll keep that one. Page of Swords. The message is the truth. Brent had something in his hands whenever he was hit from behind. He was trying to leave. Looks like a bag with some personal belongings in it. And when he was hit, that of course hit the ground too. Then he was wrapped up. He was gagged and wrapped up to prevent him from being able to defend himself with his arms and his legs. Prevent him from yelling, calling out for help. But the truth is that he was murdered shortly after he was hit. He was knocked unconscious and then restrained. So thank you all for being here for Missing Person Monday. And I'll see you all soon with your next reading. Namaste.